Today's lesson's a little bit boring. Not a lot of playing in this lesson, but very critical in setup and how we attack the drum set. One thing I haven't gone over with you all is basically the different elements of drum set. So you have your hi-hat cymbal, which can be played closed or open. Okay, that's controlled by your foot. Your depending on what side you play with, but most drummers have this as their left foot. The kick drum or the bass drum, which is controlled with your right foot, and yeah, hold on, left, it's left. Yep, it's your right foot. So yep, we're gonna have that there. That can be played in so many different sequences. For right now, we're going to be concentrating on keeping that simpler. And as your calf muscle starts to strengthen and build stamina, you'll be able to do a lot more with the kick drum. This is a ride cymbal. This cymbal is something that's used as the same as the snare. It's same as the hi-hat. It's a timekeeping cymbal. So a lot of drum beats you would see drummers play or me play. This is going to be used in place of the hi-hat. It's a little louder volume, made a little bit more for when the music becomes a little more intense. So I haven't played on that yet in these videos, so I'll just show you what that sounds like. And there's a bell on it. The farther out to the edge that you get on a ride cymbal, the washier it's going to get. That's what they call it in the drum world, is washiness. It's got that really full sound. And then the closer you get up to the middle is the higher pitch it's going to get. It's going to have that ping to it. Versus, yeah. Here I have a splash cymbal. It's basically a crash cymbal, only it's small. It's made for quick accents. Doesn't ring out as long as a crash cymbal would, versus a crash cymbal. Another component to the drum set is your toms, or old school they're called tom-toms, but this is a rack tom or a high tom. This is a low tom or a floor tom. They have much different sound to them. The smaller the diameter of the drum, the higher the sound it's going to create, the higher pitch it's going to create. And so what we do when we tune the drums is we tune those in sequence, and it goes from high down to low. So you can hear the difference here. Okay, that about covers it for the different elements of traditional drum setup. Yeah. That's pretty much it. We always want to focus on keeping our hitting in the center of the drum head. You can see from the looks of my snare drum, it's kind of dirty right in the middle. That's because cymbals are brass. Brass is not the cleanest of all metals, and even when it's polished to a shine, it still has dirt in there, basically. So as your drumsticks strike the brass, it gets them dirty. You can even see on the stick. So then when you transfer that onto the drum heads, dirt transfers. But back to the original comment, we want to keep that strike zone right in the middle of the drum head. It's where you're going to get your best sound. So on a snare drum, that's where the most body and depth is. If I hit it out on the edge, you see it's pingy and high tone. So from the inside out. That's why we want to hit in the middle. Same with the tom drums. So we want to, as we learn and we teach ourselves the proper way to play, we want to keep that in mind. The other thing that you probably can't see as well, and so I'm going to move the camera a little bit, is posture when you're playing. In order to keep the best posture and cause the least amount of strain or damage to your muscles, your bones, your tendons, which I'm kind of slouchy, so shame on me, you want to have your legs running parallel to the ground. Okay, and I'm going to show you a little bit, if I can, what that looks like. My legs are running parallel to the ground as they rest on the pedals. I tend to have my butt or my rear seated a little bit higher, so they're just a little slanted down. And what that does is that allows for a little more force to be put on the pedals. But the proper way, proper way, is to have them parallel. The same thing, drumming is not an arm movement as much as it's a wrist movement. So when you sit at a drum set, what you'd really like to see is this forearm being parallel to this leg, which is parallel to the ground. And that's your sweet spot. That's your zone. That's where you're going to extend the least amount of energy and be able to keep that stamina going up. So, yeah, there are some things that you have to reach for, but you want as little reaching as possible because that's just going to cause fatigue. So when I play, pay attention to my forearms and attention, if you can, to my legs. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay, messed up a little there, but you saw me reach. I reached out to here. I reached out over here, down here. You're going to have to reach a little bit, but at your core, where you're keeping your time, you don't want to have to reach. You want those wrists to do the work and not your arms to do the work. Okay? A lot of drummers make the mistake because they want to hit hard and they want to go fast. And when you do that, you have a tendency to really use the arms, which I'll try and do to show you. That's really, really, really draining on the body. So. Keep that up for a 4 or 5 minute long song, you're toast by the end. So again, as you practice, as you learn this craft, you learn your techniques, keep it in this zone, this parallel zone, as much as you can. The other thing that I'm guilty of, this will be it for this video, it's getting a little bit long, is proper sticking technique or stick holding. What you should be doing is having your hands gripping the drumstick far enough up that when the drumstick bounces, it actually bounces up. Instead of like this, if I drop the drumstick on the head right now, okay, that's what happens. Then I have to exert energy to pick it back up. If you're more centered on the drumstick, you drop the stick on the head, it'll bounce more. But you got to find where you're comfortable with. Some drummers like to have their hands all the way up there. I'm guilty of one of these guys where mine's about right there. And it's just what I learned with, and because of that, it's caused me problems over the years with blistering and callousing really, really heavily on the inside of the hands. So find what's comfortable for you, but remember that you want to choke up on it as much as you can, because if you're if you're swinging this much drumstick fast and up here, it's a lot more weight that you have to control than if it's distributed down here. So actually, if you can get used to holding your sticks, choking up on them as they call it, closer to the center, so you've got a little bit hanging out the bottom, it's less weight that you're moving here. It's just a bad habit I formed when I was little. I know better now, but it's a habit, I can't change it. Till next time, that's my tips for the day, and yeah, watch for more videos to be coming soon.